So I just started the recording, and before we get started, I do want you to take just a minute to read over the disclaimer and the hypothetical performance disclosure. This is required by the CFTC and the NFA. Basically, you should not trade with money you cannot afford to lose, And this room is not a trade along with Gail room. I do not know your risk tolerance. So, you have to decide that on your own. It's not something I can tell you what it is. I am not trying to tell you to either buy, or I'm not making any recommendations on buying and selling. So you need to read over that, make sure everybody's on the same page here. I will be using a demo account in Nadex this morning. Now, I just did a video and I just put it up on the website, and it was based off of a signal that came in on the Aussie dollar. You see the little red dot there. Okay, the signal came in, told you to sell 72.12. I immediately looked at that signal and said there's absolutely no way I would take that. One, if you flip an ATR, you would expect it to go back and test the ATR. That's exactly what's happening in this case. You also see that the stochastics on the higher time frame was oversold. I don't go against the stochastics. It's not a smart thing to do. And then when you look at the 240, you can see that you have an ATR directly below price that is supporting this to go up. Additionally, when price was approaching this ATR, it was doing so on increasing buying volume. That tells me they're probably going to flip this ATR. Okay? Now, if you're looking at, and I did a lot of videos last week showing you all these concepts, okay? Do you see how that higher low came in? I knew to anticipate that higher low because of what I was seeing on the charts. Now, can you do that? I don't know. It's going to take you developing skill to filter trades, okay? Trading's not as easy as just jumping in, okay? You have to develop skill to read your chart. It is all about chart reading. Does everybody understand that? The increasing volume as it approached the ATR says it's probably going to break the ATR. Normally to do that is going to try to test the low, but it's going to fail. You see the failure right here. That pink bar tells me that the price bar made both a high and a low. The delta is above zero, and the price bar confirms that move. In other words, everything was telling me the market was going to continue up. Why would you take a short trade? Now, there's one on the USD JPY that just came in. It's to buy 118.14. So right here, you see you've got a dot there, okay? Do you see how you're overbought over here? Okay, this magenta dot on the ADX, that's telling me it's going to come down and test the ATR more than likely at 117.68. Now this ATR could also move up, but I'm going to put a line on the chart where it showed you to buy, which is right at 14. I can move this down right where it's even at 14. Do you see how sellers were increasing to the downside here? Does everybody see that? This means that more than likely it's going to flip this ATR, okay? And if it flips that ATR and I'm long, that means I'm going to have a negative trade. Does everybody understand that? Then when you look at the higher time frame, you have flipped this ATR. I just told you, when we flip an ATR, what do we expect? We expect it to come back and test the ATR. So this is telling me we're probably going to get some downward movement. Look at the stochastics at 87, confirming the down movement that I'm anticipating. Okay, you look at the 60-minute, you're overextended on the 60-minute. The ADX is telling you it's probably going to come down and test the ATR. The volume is decreasing on the highs. You've got a lot of sellers in there, again, confirming it's probably going to go down, but you're going to go long on a 12-minute. Everybody understand that? This is not a trade that I'm willing to take. It's not worth the risk, in my opinion. Any questions on that? Does everybody need some more coffee this morning? Well, Dave, did you get your coffee in this morning? All right, let's look at the radar screen. Every trade that I take is at an ATR. And I don't have to look at the charts to know which ones are at an ATR. It's either at an ATR or at a congestion dot, okay? So in this case, if I just go down the list, okay, I can see everything that is potentially at an ATR. For example, the Euro US dollar is close to an ATR on the 60-minute chart. Okay, I might want to look at that. Nope, I don't like it. I'm not going to look at it. Oh, that was on the 15-minute chart. This is overextended to the downside, overextended to the downside. I'm not interested in taking that trade. The British pounds at an ATR over on the 240. You see where you're getting a potential dot right now. I would like to see it come down closer to this dot at 22.47 before I opted to enter this trade. I would also like to see the stochastics oversold or to get hidden divergence, which is probably going to make it oversold. And if you don't know what hidden divergence is when you're making either higher lows and lower lows on the stochastics, or you're making lower highs in price, but higher highs on the stochastics. Get my words right here. On the Dow this morning, we had a perfect example of it. Let's get back to the Dow Jones. And I did a post on this morning for the blog. And this was just a perfect hidden divergence here, confirmed by volume divergence at the same time. You're making higher lows in price, lower lows on the stochastics, okay? This is a picture perfect trade setup, okay? And I walk you through that one on the blog this morning. That's what I would like to see on the British pound for that market to go up. I'm not seeing it right now. This is one I would keep my eye on. That one we've already looked at. Not interested in it. Let's see what the Euro Yen is doing. This is one I would anticipate it going up, but I think it's going to come down to this congestion dot just a little bit more first. And that's more of an advanced trade setup. That was a beautiful setup on the Dow, Charles. I mean, beautiful. Seller's divergence, everything. Anything that you could have wanted was on that one. Um, on this one, what I would like to see is for this to come down to the congestion dot at 144.79, and then it should go up and test the ATR and then resume down. It should come back down to 144.40 as it stands right now. Do you see how you have this reversal bar on these 60-minute? The magenta peaks telling us it should come down to this level. You're overextended. In fact, you have what's called trend divergence on this one, and that you're making higher highs in price but lower highs on the stochastics. And let's see. I want to see how close to the ATR I have this set to. Let's do 5 ticks. Okay, and on the CD, okay. So right now, as it stands, there's just no trades on here. Go look at the Canadian. This is one where you would anticipate this would come back to this ATR. I'm just not interested in doing a daily right now. Oh, good. Remember, I am not giving out trade recommendations. This is for demonstration purposes only. I am in a demo account. Good morning, Nadesh. Okay, I'm just going to pull this over here. And on this one, I'm anticipating this to come back to the ATR. Okay? So, I'm not going to risk a lot on this trade. Okay? 34.38 is above this number. Okay? It's also above this ATR. So, and I'm only going to do one contract. If you can't make money with one contract, you're not going to make money with 10 contracts. Now, I'm going to do it like that for a moment so I can put my strike price on my chart. And 34.38. All right. And we'll sit here and watch this one. Notice that I only had about 38.50 in risk on this trade. And again, this is using the same thing that I told you a few minutes ago. It's actually from the 60-minute chart. It flipped the ATR. The congestion dot called it. Okay. And I'm expecting it to come back down to this ATR at 34.06. Now, I know this ATR will move up. This is the way the ATR does. Okay. So I'm just sitting here watching it to see, yes, in fact, this does come down. Okay. Let's say that we get a reversal bar to the upside. Okay. I would exit the trade. Any questions on that? On the 15-minute chart, you already have the reversal bar to the downside. It may go back and try to test that high. If it does, it does. If I see a reversal bar coming in, then I will exit the position. This is not one that moves real fast. Let me move this over so we can see if another one comes in. And what I would be looking at was price at a ATR. I already know I don't want to take the USD JPY, so I'm not looking at that one. Just not seeing anything else right now. We will be focused on the Forex until probably about 9:15, and then we'll move over to the futures. If you notice on the 15-minute, the delta flipped above zero right now. That's intra-bar. At the USD JPY, oh, wait a minute, I'll tell you. Do you see how this is at an ATR to the upside, Dinesh? But this is telling me it's coming down. This is saying it's coming down. This is overbought, so I'm expecting it to come down. So I'm not taking a trade at that ATR. Now, if it flips the ATR and then it goes back to test the ATR, then I'll look at it. but not right now. It's not ready yet. And if I look at it, I will be enticed to take a trade. I know me. Do you understand that, Dinesh? If your trade is not there, you should not be looking at your chart. Good morning, Rick. How you doing? Did you have a nice New Year's? We did. We managed to break 2 of the four-wheelers, broke axles in one, and I don't know what's wrong with the other one. So they had a blast. I did not get stuck in that mud. They did. Yeah, Richard ended up fixing the axle on the second day. He had to tear the whole front end out and replace the axle because a piece of metal broke off into the drive shaft. It was funny. I just sat and watched them. Okay, we have some signals that did come in on Forex. And again, this is telling me I need to buy right here, okay? That's not going to be a good trade because, again, this is telling you it's retracing to the ATR. You've got trend divergence here. You're overextended over here. Now, I would probably buy it if it came down to 19,843. Why? Because it should go back up and test the ATR. I did a video on this last week on gold. Okay, as it stands right now, not a trade I would take. This one has not made it back to the ATR, but you're fixing to get the magenta peak in here. And as it stands right now, if this continues down, you're going to have trend divergence over here. Okay? not a trade I want to take. On the ES, it's telling you to buy. Same scenario. Do y'all see this trend divergence? Now, if y'all are not asking questions, you're not learning. I'll tell you that right now. I love questions. I love teaching. But if you don't ask the questions, I can't answer them. There's your trend divergence. Higher highs, lower highs in the stochastics. Do not take a trade when that occurs, okay? Now, if this comes down to this congestion dot, this white dot right here, and it has diverging volume, I may take a long position on that, but I need 1 hour for that trade to work out. No more, no less. Well, I could take less, but and that's because I would expect it to come back to test this ATR, okay? So right now, if it comes down to 2250 and it has diverging volume and I could get something with low risk, I would take it back up here. Would not let it expire more likely than not. Now this is, they tried to make a reversal bar here. Do you see how sellers started stepping in? We don't have the reversal bar as it stands right now, and there's 3 minutes left, okay? So I'm going to stick with this trade for at least another bar. I think I had my microphone on mute, Dinesh, so you wouldn't hear anything I said. All right, it looks the same, but it's not, okay? The USD JPY, do you see how we're at an ATR? And we're going long, okay? This is telling me down, this is telling me down, okay? If this was at a congestion dot and I knew it was going to go back and test the ATR, I would have taken the trade, okay? That's what I'm doing at the Aussie dollar. We're at a congestion dot, so it's very likely that it will go and test the ATR, or at least try to, okay? That's not the same scenario as the USD JPY. We don't have the congestion dot. This is simply at an ATR that's actually going against both higher time frames. No, don't take that. Now, let me go back to this one. Do you see how you've got the congestion dot here? Okay, it should come back and try to test this ATR. That's what I'm trading. There's enough time between the 60 and the 240 for this to play out on the 15-minute. And the fact that that little congestion dot formed at 72.18, that tells me, okay, it should come back. It's testing for support. Where's the most likely place that it's going to find support? It would be at the ATR. Do you understand now? I was explaining it before, but I had my microphone off. It doesn't have to in this case because this is going to be a very short-term trade, Dinesh. It's got time on this trade to actually work out, okay? I'll show you what I'm talking about. Gold did it on one day last week. I did a video on it. Let me go back and find it though. This is what I'm talking about, Dinesh. See how you formed the line of congestion dots? It should go back up and test this ATR and then come back down. It's just like right now, you see it on the 180. See how it's at the congestion dot? It should come back to test this ATR. You saw it over here, 45-minute line of congestion dots, it came down. They worked as resistance. I would have preferred to only have an hour on this, but I had to do the 10 a.m. because it's the only thing I had available that had an hour in it. Would I leave it to expiration? No. As long as your indicators on the 15-minute are confirming it and you're taking a very short-term trade, yes. You have to make sure that you have room for profits as well, Dinesh. Okay, in this case, I do. If they get too close together, you won't have room for profits. That's my point. I think these are a little bit harder to take, but you probably have the experience to do it. Let's go over and check the futures. I think I was looking at the ES. See how we're at the congestion dot now? But look at the volume. Should you take that trade? That's right. You've got increasing volume. As that's approaching that congestion dot, I wouldn't touch that. Okay. I do look at the 60-minute to see whether it supports it. Okay. You know, that's the purpose of looking at a higher time frame. Now, on the Aussie US dollar, we know that this should come back and test this ATR before the higher time frame kicks in. Okay. And the volume is saying, okay, this is going to play out before this one takes over or this one takes over. Okay. That's all I'm playing. I would have preferred to have exactly 1 hour for that trade to play out. That's usually when they play out better. You know, 45 minutes to an hour. But then the Aussie moves slow, so. Having a little bit more time might be a good thing on this one. And Dinesh, you know, do you see how the stochastics is overextended? You had volume divergence as that high was made. You know, if you don't have all of this together, you shouldn't be taking the trade. It's not one indication. I've got multiple indications saying, yeah, it's searching for support. I'm anticipating it to come up to about 72.05. Okay. Is that going to give me a full profit potential? No, it will not. But I was able to get this for very low risk as well. Okay. Would I do a $50 risk on this or $60? No. Not the ones I do. Yeah, it actually is right here on the 60-minute 72.04. And it actually should pull up. If the ATR stays at 72.01, I don't think it would. That means it's moved, you know, basically 2 strikes in our direction. It takes time to learn. It really does. The most important thing in the learning process, I think, is coming into the trading room, asking questions, um, studying the videos. Oh yeah, I do. Um, in fact, hold on for a moment and I'll open up the blog. Now, if you go to my main site, if you just click on blog over here, it comes up for you. And I just posted one on filtering binary option signals with a higher time frame. But do you see this little tag here? It says trade videos including live trading room. If you click on that tag, it will bring up all the videos. And I have done, last week, I really focused on posting videos that show you how to manage a binary option trade. Okay? And, you know, these are short videos. And you just go and you watch the videos, you know. And, yeah, these are in public domain. Okay? Because, you know, I'm doing these signals, and I want people to be able to manage a trade, you know. I don't believe in, you know, endorsing people to follow things blindly. You know, it's not trading. Hell, if it was that easy, you know, everybody would be making money. No, I really need to see some selling coming in here. He's still working on them, Dinesh. It's a lot of work for NinjaTrader 8. Mainly the market analyzer is a lot of work. But we'll get there. I'm expecting them by the end of January, yeah. But I have to run them and test them, and we usually go through 2 or 3 iterations of everything. And I am making some changes, so yeah, the stochastics will be in there. That should actually be a really good seminar, Dinesh. The only thing that I worry is a little bit cold down here during February. I almost wish I had scheduled it for March or April. Yeah, it'll be like summertime for you then. Again, I really want to see sellers coming in on this bar. It's got another 8 minutes. I do not want to see it form a reversal bar to the upside. I will exit. No problem, Dinesh. Let me go check what the ES is doing. See, there was your entry on the ES. Do you see how you had that volume divergence there? This is where it's going to go back and test this ATR. Does everybody see that? That's what you would have waited for. Now, I'm not going to enter it now because I'm late to the game, okay? But you want it to go up here to 254. That gives you, if you were actually long here at 2251.7. If it goes up to 2254, it gives you usually a nice profit. Okay. I'm late to the game, so I'm not entering this one. Okay. And this is really the same thing that we're playing over on the Aussie dollar at the moment. And we have 4 minutes left in this bar. What I don't like right now is that you're getting potential volume divergence here. Okay. I don't like that. That's usually is when you will hear me say I will give it one additional bar. On the Dow, Rick. Yeah, you're absolutely right. There's hidden divergence there. And this is where it's going to come back and it's going to test that ATR. This is going to be your reversal bar right here, and that bar ends at 9 o'clock, which is 3 minutes away. This should actually push it right back to 19,869. Yeah, the test of this ATR is really what's going to give it the power to push down to test the ATR on the 180. So you are absolutely correct. And I imagine the NASDAQ has a similar appearance. I mean, we were getting the buy signals on these at 8:30 this morning. And this is why, I tell y'all should wait and watch. This did not test this ATR. I wouldn't touch that. Okay. The Dow in the ES, absolutely. All right, now we're getting the reversal bar on this one, and I do not like it, okay? I have the opportunity to cover this trade cost, and I'm going to do it, okay? Now, why? Because this is forming a reversal bar. It's only got about a minute left to completion. I don't think it's going to come back down. I'm seeing volume divergence here. I know I'm going against my higher time frames, okay? So I'm not taking a loss on that. Did I make as much as I wanted? No. Did I manage the trade like I should? Yes. Does everybody understand that? That's trading, And on these, I'm just late to the game. I don't enter when I'm late to the game. We can watch them. Let's go to the Dow. This is where it tested the congestion dot, guys. Okay. This is where it gives you the hidden divergence right here. Okay. I'll mark it on here, but then I have to delete it because it kind of freezes everything. So you're making higher lows, lower lows in the stochastics, lower lows in stochastics, and higher lows in price. This says it should go up. This says it should go up, okay? The actual signal came in on the ES at 2252, which was about here, and it came in early, okay? You would not know that that congestion dot was here if you didn't have the indicators, okay? You wouldn't have known that. You still could have bought this for under $55 of risk. And right now it's just 50. Same thing over here. If you had done it when it was at this line, you could have got it for less than 55. This is where I anticipate it to go up. It's going to try to test the ATR, which is at 18,666. So you don't have a lot of room here for profits. Here, I would want it to test this one to really give you sufficient profits. Okay. This is what I mean by it's a tight range, and this is where you kind of have to know your strike widths, because from this congestion dot to this congestion dot, you don't have a lot of strike widths there because it's every 12 points, I believe. So you would have got this one at about here. Do you see there's not a lot of room here? There's only one strike, okay? That's going to be your issue on the Dow. Let's go see if there's anything else I can get into. Um, okay, on the euro, we're at an ATR. Do you see how you're overextended here? Okay, this is a non-directional indicator, okay? So I'm not really too ambitious to take a short here when I'm already oversold on both the ADX and the stochastics on both the 60 and the 240. They actually come off of the 15-minute and the 60-minute. The 60-minute Forex, and that's on Forex. On the futures, I do the 12-minute and the 45-minute, Dinesh. No, only the ATR. And I don't do it interbar. It's, right at the 15-minute intervals or right at the hour intervals. Just because people get too confused because it gives a lot of signals. I took it from 200 signals down to 35 just doing on bar close. And we get on average just about 35 signals. I like the Forex signals better just because I like Forex because it trades 24 hours a day versus, you on the futures you have with gold from 8 to 1:30, and then on crude it's 8 to 2:30, and on the futures it's 8 to 4:15. So I tend to trade more on the Forex signals just because there's more of them because it's 24 hours. Let's check the USD JPY. See how this is just sitting at this ATR? It's really not doing anything. This is a reversal bar to the downside, so it should actually move down. This one is actually starting to move down. So in this case, we're probably just going to wait until the U.S. Open and see if it makes any movement. I'm not seeing anything right now. Again, this is one, if that bar continues to do that, it's only 3 minutes left, I would exit that one. All right, I'm going to go grab a cup of coffee, and then I'll come back and see if the market's moving for the U.S. Open. Okay, the U.S. session will be starting in a few minutes. Let's see what's going to happen. Now, today is going to be like a Monday, since it was a holiday yesterday. And just as a reminder, we're having a webinar Thursday at 2 o'clock. If you signed up for this one, you should be signed up for that one. I'm going to focus on 20-minute binaries on the futures, the Dow, the ES, the NASDAQ. Yeah, 2 p.m. Eastern time. And it's predominantly solely focused on 20-minute binaries. I'll have a different workspace open for that one. I'll have most of my others closed so that we can get in and out. I would think that they're going to go down at the open based on these higher time frames. They may spike it up to this ATR. The 45-minute, if they break the ATR, it forms a congestion dot, you'll go right back up and test the ATR. That's what's going to make trading this hard this morning. Let me go look at the ES. The ES looks like it's actually trading better than what the Dow is. Mm. And the U.S. market session has opened. This one is given a clear indication that it should come back down and test this ATR. Move this one over, move this one over. You're at a congestion dot. All right, on this one, you cannot do a 1 hour on this one. It's going to have to be a daily because your entry is coming off of your 45-minute. Let me see if I can get the charts up. Oh, wrong one. And I don't think I'm going to be able to get up quick enough. So, yes. All right. See if I can get this one over. I'm going to buy one at 34. If it does not take out this high at 2055, you're in trouble. Now, this is not using a 12-minute. It is actually using this 45-minute. Does everybody understand that? And it needs to take out 2255. Do you see how you're forming the reversal bar, Dinesh? So you had trend divergence, and they're following it by having a hidden divergence at the ATR. Now there's about 7 minutes left until the end of this bar. Yeah, they're going to more than likely take out this 2255 area. That's what I'm anticipating right now. Now, if this goes against me on the 45-minute, my risk was limited to, $34. But it's out all day long, okay? And this is one, you're not going to pay attention to this one as much as you are the 45-minute. Because there's two things that will work in your favor on the 45-minute being out on a daily. Number one, even if it manages to flip this ATR, it's going to form the congestion dot and go back up. Okay? And that would potentially, because we are under this high, okay, we're right at that high, it's 2255, then we could potentially make money because we're out for the duration of the day. We typically need 3 hours on this. I want my reversal bar back in the next 5 minutes. Yeah, they gave it to me and then they started taking it away, Rick. When would I look to kill the trade? I'm watching this bar actually. Dinesh, I don't want it to close on the low, okay? But remember also, I chose a very low risk trade because we're in at the market opening. I mean, we were in about 7 minutes into the market. I don't do the $50, $60 risk types. I'd like to see the buyers step back into that bar like it was. And this is one I may have been too early on. I don't mind scratching the trade. Got about 3 more minutes to push back up. That bar ends at 9:45. I would really like to see that delta go above 0. I'd like to see this bar close in the upper percentile. Now this is the equivalent of a doji. This is when it's okay. I'll give it one more bar. Okay. Let's go see what gold is doing. No, it should go up and try to test at 2055. Hold on a minute. It's got too much buyers in it. Let's go look at the NASDAQ. I'm trying to look at the signals, so give me a minute, Dinesh. This one just came in on the NASDAQ. Don't really like all those sellers on that one. We're in the ES. Let's go back to the ES. Now, what I anticipate is that it would go back and test this at 2255, Dinesh. That may have already done it. I'm waiting on one additional bar here to see what happens. I don't like the way that volume bar ended. So I'm just waiting right now. And that 180-minute chart, Dinesh, may end up causing this to be a negative trade. They're flirting with this ATR on the 45-minute charts, what they're doing. Do you see how that delta is above zero, Dinesh? That could be profit taking, and then they can come down and actually come in and take control. That's the reason I said I'm going to give it one more bar. And that bar doesn't end until 10:15. No, 10:30. So there's a lot that can change on this bar before the end of it. Do you see how, Dinesh, on both the 45 and the 180, you're seeing buyers stepping in? Again, this is intra-bar, so it could just be profit taking. That's what we don't know. We're waiting to find out. As far as the hidden divergence is still valid right now because you're not seeing new lows being made. Yeah, these are hard trade setups actually this morning. I wouldn't recommend these trade setups for a beginner because they're hard to read. You're having to read more information. Yeah, and remember, Rick, on Friday we have the non-farm employment too. That's going to be fun. Yeah, I like trading the Forex on that day. The Euro and the USD/JPY, I love trading on that day. The USD/JPY normally moves 80 to 100 pips off that report. So you can really go far out of the money on that one. Of course, they raised the premium, so. That's exactly how I want that bar to continue. I want to see the buyers in there. I want to see this make that reversal bar. See, in my opinion, Dinesh, for everything that I'm seeing on the 45-minute chart, they're giving buyers the opportunity to come back into the market and take the market higher. Okay? That's what the hidden divergence is telling you. It's still valid. You haven't made a lower low. I expected to take out this congestion dot with that kind of volume right now. If it continues that way, I'll take out the congestion dot. Still has about 22 minutes in this bar. I'm actually trying to get 100% on this, which is $34. I don't know that I will. I might. I'd like it to get to 2261. We'll have to see. I can always come in and set a profit target at 70. 34 plus 34 is 68. Plus the cost of the trade would be 70. Nadex did go up to $2 round trip this week. Just whenever I exit the trade, Dinesh, I'm not real strict about it. If nothing's going on, I'll end early. I have been known to end within 30 minutes when nothing was going on. Well, I'll have it up on the website sometime today, Dinesh, so you can see it as well. Dinesh, also, just for your information, if you looked at the 720 and the 1440, they actually confirmed this trade. The 180 is the only one that had something in the way, which was the congestion dot. And I mean, this is out for duration of the day, so as long as it goes up there. Let me. Do you see how the 720 was going up to the ATR? This had formed a congestion dot. It's coming back to test this ATR, Dinesh. I think Rick and I had noticed that earlier, but it was on the Dow. But the same pattern holds on the ES. No problem, Dinesh. I'm waiting to see if this gets up to 2261. While we're waiting on this one, let's go see what gold did. From the looks of it, gold is going to go down now. You see sellers stepping in on gold. They're going to have to break that ATR on the 12-minute chart to go down. Let's go look at the NASDAQ and see if it has the same patterns. NASDAQ did not have the same pattern. It's probably going to reach up to this congestion dot at 49.40. What about the Dow? The Dow is getting the same pattern right now. It's forming the same pattern. We didn't look at crude. Let's look at crude. Crude ain't doing nothing. No, I wouldn't touch crude. I don't like the patterns on those. So I guess we'll stick with this one. Let's go look at Forex. See, this was your signal on Forex. You went up to the congestion dot and then came down. I don't see any volume divergence there. I think we had one on the euro yen sell at or near 122.89, which was here. And workspace, that would be here. So the only one I think you would have been able to do was probably about 90, which would have been here, knowing that this would more than likely come down to this congestion dot. What else? That's it. Overall, kind of a slow market this morning, but it's like a typical Monday. So Mondays are typically slow. Now, if this bar, it has about 9 minutes left, but if this bar closes above the high of this bar, you can anticipate the next bar being higher. Remember, I want it to get to 2261, so that's exactly what I want it to do. Well, Rick, when are you leaving for your trip? I know you told me, but I forgot. Are you going to be able to leave? We're supposed to have snow this weekend, but it's not going to be much. I think a dusting is what they're anticipating. Oh, no. Well, I hope it stops falling so you can leave and get on with your trip. I'm hoping I have my profit target on this by 11. So we'll see. Oh, you are so right about that. I love being able to trade because we just do what we want when we want, pretty much. I have some deadlines, but not a lot. I think this past weekend, Rick's first time I have not taken my laptop with me on a trip in forever. But I said, market's not open, no reason to take a laptop. Yeah, I think you do too. Just to get all the junk out of your head, you need to. Taking a break can make a big difference in your trading. It's got about 3 minutes. I'm really waiting to see if this closes above the high of this bar, which was 22.54. So a close at 22.56 would make me feel better. Okay, this closed above the high of this bar. So I'm just going to leave this trade on. I think it will touch my profit target at 70, and I'll update it on the blog if it does. It's just simply this number has to get to 70, and as long as there is a buyer there, then it'll execute the trade. So any questions this morning, guys? I will post the video up this morning. It'll probably be this afternoon before I get it posted, because I have to render the video and all that good stuff. So any questions? If there's no questions, I'm going to end the session. We are having another session on Thursday at 2 p.m. and the focus on that one is going to be the 20-minute binaries. So you'll see me with different workspaces in anticipation of just doing 20-minute binaries. Okay? I hope everybody has a wonderful day. I will see you on Thursday if you join the session. And other than that, I hope you have a wonderful trading day.